Cori. Thanks so much for talking to me. I always like to start off asking people about how they grew up. So tell me about how you grew up.
So I grew up here on Staten Island. I've been here my whole life. I was born in Brooklyn. Um, it was me, my dad, my mom, and my brother. My parents got divorced when I was 5, so I am a child of divorce. So can relate to a lot of people with that one. I've started working when I was like 15, doing like part-time jobs here and there. My first one was actually at like a deli. Um, Ironically, that was like not too far from my house, so I could just like walk there. And then I did a lot of part-time jobs. I did college for a couple years, but I didn't graduate. But I've been working basically my whole life. Now I work full time, and yeah.
What'd you go to college for?
I was originally a hospitality management major, which is in the travel and tourism industry, like hotels, airlines, restaurants, and everything. I was in like the special tourism program in high school, and it was something I loved because I loved the idea of traveling and seeing parts of the world and experiencing like everything. And like I still have that passion, but then after a while, I kind of just like fell out with it.
Yeah, how come you didn't finish?
Bad grades.
Okay, okay. I've been there. I've been there. So and then you never went back.
Yeah, I just never went back. I just stayed working and just that's it.
When did you start gaming?
So I've been playing video games like my whole life. Like, I remember when I'd go to my older cousin's house, and we'd play on his Sega Genesis. And I had my original Nintendo, my 64, the PlayStation 1. I went through all of that. My Game Boy Pocket, my Game Boy Color. I still have my Nintendo 3DS and everything. Like,
Great console.
um, I had like all like the fun games. I was the typical Pokemon player back then too. Um,
Charmander.
Charmander. And like my brother plays video games too, so that's something that we both did together when we were little.
Your brother's
And
younger, older?
my brother is younger. He's only 2 years younger than me actually. And then as I got older, I fell out of it for a while, and then I got back more into it. And then when I got my PlayStation 4, like I started really getting back into gaming, and then I used to like be with people who gamed, so it kind of like influenced me and interested in me more, and I'm obsessed now.
How did you get out of it? Like you were just busy, I guess?
Yeah, like real life stuff. It kind of was just like work, saving money. I was doing other things like, I'm a big like concert person, I love conventions, like I'm a big like New York Comic Con fanatic. Um, I spend most of my time and my money on all my fandoms over gaming, so
And then you got back into gaming approximately when?
um I'd say like 5, 6 years ago.
2019, 2020?
Yeah, like before COVID, kind of. And I was playing a lot of stuff. I have a Switch too, so it's like the Switch.
You have a Switch
PlayStation.
too?
Yes. Well, not the Switch 2 that's coming out, but yeah, and then I started playing online games and meeting amazing people online, and I have a lot of friends now through gaming, and like the communities that I'm in, they're like amazing, and like I wouldn't trade it for anything at this point.
We'll talk about that, because that's obviously the whole reason we're even talking.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason we even have
Yeah.
met. Start, I guess, with Twitch. Like, how did you get... Or start with where it started. Like, did it start with Twitch? How did you get into...
So I started getting into Twitch from my last relationship, because he was a Twitch streamer himself, and I saw like the kind of like community he was building, and like the support he was getting, and like the games that he would be playing, and like I never thought I'd be interested in, and then I watched the gameplay. I'm like, I want to play that.
Like, what game?
Power Wash Simulator is definitely my biggest one. I'm gonna be completely honest. Yeah. Power Wash was the biggest one, and then like I really got into Fall Guys for a while, and that was a big craze. I was on and off with like Fortnite. That one's always like a touch and go game, and shockingly enough, I'm DBD, like a Dead by Daylight player main now. But back then I used to hate the game. Like I never even wanted to play it, and then like it didn't like really like call to me to play it, and then after a few life experiences and things that I went through, and I'm like, okay, this game seems pretty cool. And then I watched people on Twitch playing it, and I'm like, okay, and now I'm at where I'm at.
Yeah, how did that? I mean, how did you? Because I feel that kind of way about it right now, where I'm like,
Mm.
I don't dislike it, but I'm just like, yeah, it's not really. I'm not really interested. So what changed for you? Where you're like, I like it
So
now.
I took like a Twitch break for not watching Twitch streams for like over a year or so. And then when I started getting back into it and like going back and like seeing people that I used to follow like still streaming. So I would go to theirs and they were playing Dead by Daylight like all the time. And through that, other people that I met through that person was also playing the game at the time. And then we all started like playing together and like having fun. And then like as I started to actually play the game, and I'm like, this is like the best, most fun chaos I've ever played, and I was hooked ever since. And then I got more into it, and then the more times I played, the more people I met.
That's great. Um, and then so Discord. How did you get involved? How did you get into Discord? I guess. And then how did you meet Oscar?
All gaming related stuff, I will honestly say, is based from the last relationship, because big gamer, and I saw like how he was doing everything, and then I started seeing other people doing it when I started getting back into it. And then I just started like picking up little bits from everybody that I can, like I learned a little something from somebody, and I'm like, oh, this really cool thing that you can do interests me, and like I want to incorporate that, and so on.
And how did you meet Oscar?
So I was brought into the cult by a friend that I met through the person that I started watching again when I first got back into streaming. And she was a big member of the cult. And she brought me in. And then one day, whoever's stream I was watching, I believe it was hers, she rated Oscar. And I was watching his stream for a while, like hearing him talk. He's getting to introduce himself and everything. And like, what the community was about, like if anyone like be part of it, like, oh, like, hey, how are you, tell me a little bit about yourself, like what's going on, you seem like you'd be a cool fit if you want to join this cult, and it clicked from there. And like it's
And so we keep saying cult, and we should
yes.
clarify.
So yes, to clarify, cult, it is our Twitch community called the Cult of the Wild with 2 Ds. Oscar Wilde is like the cult, father, and then there is Trash Panda, who's like the cult mom. And like they really make this community feel like a family. Like they're there for everybody when they can be. They support, they'll be like, oh, this person's trying to do this, let's go show them some love, let's show some support, we're here for each other. The bonding that I've seen through it, the like not just like with the support, but like people are really like there for each other. They have like those groups where it's like talking about mental health, or like if you're having these kind of issues, like here's the place to come for some advice or for some help, or here's like more like-minded people with like-minded issues and situations that, hey, you could help each other out. Like maybe you and I haven't gone through something similar, but something that I've experienced that I can relate to your kind of like situation, and we can bond over it and you like help each other out, find new ways to cope or deal or handle life and to like, grow.
What has it meant to you?
I have found some people in that community that I consider family, like myself now, that we talk every day. We see each other like online, we support each other. Like they're people that like I can like open up to and like be completely like vulnerable, I guess. And that's very hard because I've grown up with a lot of trust issues my whole life, and like I've been hurt, I've been betrayed, I've been like manipulated, like all that kind of stuff. And to find people that like are actually very genuine, because with online, you never know with people online. A lot of people put a persona, they put like they want to promote a brand, so like they're not really who they are online as they are offline. But I have found people, like a lot of like the few that are legitimately 24/7 who they are, like myself. And it's nice to see that and like be able to open up my heart to people.
Yeah, what's a way that you like what's one thing that really stands out to you where you're like, oh, this was a really special time, like you said, like opening your heart up to, because it ultimately is strangers, sort of, right? Like, I mean, us, right? I know you, like we've talked online and stuff, but we had never met before this. You literally offered to let me sleep on your couch, like you opened your home to me. It's a super generous thing, and like it's hurt, like super grateful, as you know, we've talked, but you know, that's not necessarily something that everyone would consider, and so I just wonder if there's a moment or a couple things that have stood out to you over the time. How long have you been in the cult?
Um, I think almost a year already.
Okay. Okay, so like spring 2024.
Yeah, cause sorry.
You're good.
So I started getting back into like watching Twitch back in March of like 2024, and then I started personally streaming in May of 2024, and like around that time, like within a month or two of me streaming, I think I was in the cult.
Okay. So yeah, so what's something that's like, what's a memory that you have in the last year? It's just something that's really stood out to you where you're like, wow, like this, I'm glad that I'm part of this.
Um, it's hard to say because they've done a lot of stuff. But a lot of the community stuff that they try to put together, and like seeing how, like, you know, how do I put this? Like, it's hard to have like one specific memory because, like I said, they've done a lot. So, you know, the togetherness and like the support, and like it's always like, you know, we're all actually there for each other. Humans being there for other humans is like my biggest thing, because like we don't live in a great time right now, and a lot of us are very like scared and nervous, and like to have somebody like just be a person to another person with no judgment, no preconceived tendencies, no like hate in their heart whatsoever, going in blindly and just being yourself and like actual human connection. Like, we don't have that anymore, and the internet did definitely ruin that. Like, I remember like we had such human connections when I was younger. I'd be like, I'd go down the block from my house, knock on the door, be like, hey, can this kid come out and play? Like, you know, and now it's just like a text message like, sup, as your connection. And like when stuff like the cult happened, and it's like you're meeting more people, you're finding more people, whether they're far away or even actually closer than you realize, because there's a few people that are really not that far away from me here, which amazing. And we all talk about like eventually meeting in real life, and that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. Like, you were like the first like actual cultist I've met, and there's a few more on the list that are to come.
You talked a bit back about like traumas you've been through, basically, like things that kind of informed, and I wanna know if we can.
Yeah.
We talked a bit, but just like the physical trauma that you've been through recently.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Can we talk about it? Like, we talked a little bit about it yesterday in terms of like, I was like, man, the controller, right?
Yes.
So how?
So yes. So having amputated fingers is definitely a struggle. It's been 2 years now since I've had my surgeries, and I'm still learning how to like function in life.
What happened?
So I started getting kind of like not feeling well at one point. I had like, I guess what the doctor said was like fluid in my ear, and then the fluid in my ear turned to why the fluid in my ear was based off of like my being so congested, and like I couldn't breathe for a while. And then it started getting pains in my legs and my foot, and it felt like I had like a block of wood for a foot. So then after some time, I was finally off some of the medications I was on from doctors, and I started seeing physical signs. I went to my doctor. She's like, if you're my child, let's say go to the hospital right now. Went to the ER, and I was in the ER for 9 hours. They did a whole bunch of blood work. They did like skin biopsy, everything. And then they admitted me, where I ended up staying in the hospital for 6 weeks. I was diagnosed, I had MRSA when I was in the hospital, MRSA, which is basically it's in bacteria in your blood. And I also was diagnosed with vasculitis, which is an autoimmune disease, which actually only affects 1 in every 200,000 people over the age of 60. Yes. I also have gastritis, and I also was diagnosed with Raynaud's syndrome, which is a lack of blood flow to your fingers and your toes and such. So all of that, boom, all at once. And they had to do a lot of tests and a lot of procedures. I've never liked doctors a day in my life, but them saving my life, whole new outlook on life. They had to do like procedures where they had to have tubes coming out of my neck. I had like a PICC line, like this thing for like to help like with blood and injections and stuff.
Like an IV?
Yeah, so it's basically like an IV that they stick in you. It's like a thing faster to your bloodstream.
Wow.
So they can also draw blood from it. They can give you like, medication through it and so on, kind of like the IV. At one point, I had IVs here, 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 and here. I was on like 20 different medications all at once. And like, it was a scary experience. And then at that point, my fingers and my toes all went black, necrotic. They were all dead. And I could show you pictures later. And so as I was finally starting to get better and healing, these parts of my fingers were not salvageable when blood flow was finally returning. And the same thing with my toes. Like I have one toe that was partially amputated as well on my left foot. And I've gone through a lot of things in the hospital that you're not supposed to go until after you're 40. So let's just say I'm a little more prepared now for adult medical stuff. But being in the hospital is actually one of the most scariest experiences of my life.
Yeah, how did you make it through that? Because that sounds like it's like a lot.
Yeah, there was even one point where literally like 2 days before I was supposed to leave the hospital, I ended up having a gastrointestinal bleed, and I was in the ICU for 5 days after that, and I was extended a couple weeks in the hospital from that. Like within 2 weeks, and then I was like, nope, you're basically here for longer now. It was very scary because I was like, I'm in a bed all day, every day. I have doctors and nurses coming, pricking and prodding. Because of all of the stuff going on with me, doctors asked me for my consent to be, subjects for students to come and observe me. There is actually even a medical journal about me, which I can also give you a link to. Every day my mom tried to be there. My dad tried to come visit when he could. My brother tried to come visit when he could. At the time, I had people that was calling me and talking to me every single day. I had a couple of friends visiting me throughout the couple of weeks. Some family came. But I tried staying out of my mind, in all honesty, as much as I could, because that was a reality that it was very hard to face. I was scared because I was like, I didn't know if I was going to live or if I was going to die. I was scared because if I was going to live, how was I going to live this way? How am I going to go back into a society that already judges me, that already looks at me like I'm an oddball? And now I have all these deformities, not even just emotionally or mentally, but now physically. And I was scared because we live in a society where looking perfect is key. And one of the scariest things about when I was in the hospital that I haven't really told a lot of people, but I'd finally able to say it. When I was there and I didn't know if I was going to live or die, I was scared so much of dying that I cried a lot in the hospital. When I finally had moments alone. And at one point, I was ready to accept death if it was coming to me. And that scared me because I had a lot of suicidal thoughts when I was a kid because my upbringing was pretty rough. Like, even though I had, my parents and my brother, but it wasn't exactly a good childhood growing up. I have like my family issues, and that was more scarier to me than my whole childhood. I didn't basically feel like I had the will to live anymore. And I don't know what it was in me, but I feel like as I finally was starting to get better and I was able to like swallow solid food because I couldn't do that for a while, and be awake and be able to actually have a smile on my face. The nurses apparently loved me. They said I was like their favorite patient every time. Because I know they're going through the rough times, so it's like if they have to take too long to get to my bedside, or if something's happening where they're doing my blood or anything like that, I'm like, I joke around with them because you know what? I want to cheer up their day. I'm the one sitting in the hospital, but I want to help cheer up their day. Like, I like to put smiles on everybody else's faces, because if I'm around a room of happy people, I'm happy because I help make it happen. And that, along with, one day I was like in my hospital bed and I was just like, as I was getting healthier, I started realizing like my whole mindset changed. Like one day I literally woke up and I was like, all right, I can't be like this anymore. I can't look down on myself. I can't prove everybody right that always look down on me. I also, funny thing, I got threatened when I was in the hospital. Someone made a fake Instagram account and wrote to me in a message saying that they hoped I died of whatever diseases I had. Yeah, and calling me a whole bunch of names. And they actually did that twice. So when I was actually in the rehab that they put you in before they release you, and I got those messages, at that point, I was already mentally checked out. The person that I was going into that hospital was not the person I was leaving. I thought about things and I'm like, okay, I'm finally going to get out of here. I'm finally going to go home. I'm finally going to be around life again. And I was like, my will to live was kind of like reverse, where it's like not the will to die anymore, but I wasn't ready to actually leave the world yet. I was like, I'm not done here. I have a lot more to offer than this world, and I want to keep doing it until it's actually my time. And streaming and stuff like that, meeting people who I've met a lot of people online with similar stories to mine. Whether it be medical, whether it be family, whether it be, I have other amputee fellow streamers that I know online that whether it was because of sickness or an accident or war or even, and it's like I have people I could talk to, people I can relate to, that can relate to me, who actually can understand, because it's hard to find people sometimes in a society where if they don't understand what you're talking about, they genuinely can't help you. And seeing like the support within the Twitch communities and getting support from them and helping support others, like I feel like that's like my purpose, is the love that we have that's hard to find, just give it. Like, we all have this one life to live, and why are we gonna waste it like on petty little things, grudges, like arguments, nothing? Like, who cares? No one's gonna remember that 20-30 years from now. Like, be the person you want to be. Like, my biggest thing that I try to go by is I need to make the changes that I need to make for myself that I want to see in the world. If you want to make some changes, you have to make those changes. You can't just say, oh, I wish things were different. You have to do it. And I'll admit, I'm lazy. I procrastinate. So yeah, I have my slip-ups. But, you know, we all deserve love, support, appreciation. And look, with people being like against different types of people, or, you know, people's interests or activities, like, who cares? If it doesn't bother you or if it doesn't affect you, let them live their lives, you know? Live your best life, let them live their best life. And gaming, I feel, helps me spread that. Sorry.
No. Yeah. Thanks, first of all, for talking about that, because I think that's really important.
Did I make you cry? I'm sorry.
No, you know, I get a little teary-eyed. But no one has to see me, so I'm safe. I usually like to wrap up asking people if they could say anything to the world, like what they want to say. I feel like you kind of did that, which is great. Is there anything else that you want to say?
Well, I think it's just the same message I want to keep, you know, like, be there for someone. Always, like, so there's actually a line from a book that I like, where someone was going through a situation and they were like, how am I supposed to help this person if they don't ever want this help? And it's just like, just keep reaching your hand. Just keep reaching your hand. So I kind of like the idea of, like, you know, if you see somebody going through something, whether they ask for help or not, just keep reaching out your hand. Keep showing them that you're there for them if they need you or when they need you. Like, if you put a smile on one person's face once a day, you're making a difference in the world.
Final thing. Is Canada and are we cool, Canada and America? There's a lot of shit's going on right now, and everyone feels like everyone doesn't like each other, and I feel like that's not true at all. But I'm asking Keith because this is part of this project also. I'm going through America. Let's show the little buddy that you got to spread some joy. So
my cute little one.
Yeah, so we'll be posting some stuff with this, but we've got a cute little joy spreader from Canada. Yeah, come down to the U.S. and so we just want to make sure, like, Americans still like us, right? Like, we're still friends.
You guys also have stronger beer.
Cori, thank you very much for talking to me.